Today, I am speaking with Josh of the YouTube channel Joshiiwuh. He has gotten over 54 million total channel views, 306,000 subscribers, and he's been doing it since about 2012, which means he is an official YouTube veteran. He does a lot of character impressions, he does skits, sometimes with his sister, and clearly he's got a lot of interesting stuff going on this channel. I'm stoked to be talking with you today, Josh. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to be on the podcast.
Right on. So you've been doing this since 2012. It looks like you first blew up by doing these 100 character impersonations in 6 minutes, kind of videos like that. What was that like, kind of back in the day when you first get this big spike, and feels like you're super famous or whatever? Like, what was that like?
Oh yeah. I didn't even have any intentions of doing anything with voice impressions. I've always wanted to get into voice acting, and my first few videos on my channel actually were all like little short skits and stuff, because I also want to get into directing. So I did a few short skits first, but then I just randomly thought, like, hey, I do impressions all the time around my house. It'd be cool if I tried to do 100 in a video or something, and I made it and I posted it. Then like a few days later, I saw the view count starting to like just shoot up out of nowhere, and then by the end of a month, it just like had blown up, and my channel was like getting tons of subscribers, and people were asking for more impressions. And so I kind of just got, and I kind of just stuck with it because, you know, people wanted to see it, and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And you got some good impressions on there. Like, how long have you been doing impressions of characters? Because like hitting that many, I'm sure it takes a lot of practice. Surely you've been doing it for a while.
I don't want to sound like a bad role model or anything, but I actually don't practice at all, ever. But I mean, I've been growing up. I have two younger siblings, and I would sometimes they'd want me to play games with them, like with their Pokemon toys or something. So I'd do all the voices of the Pokemon and the characters that they were fighting and stuff like that. So I've been doing them my entire life, but I think it's more so just that I've been trying to get in voice acting for a long time, that I kind of just naturally, I guess, was pretty good at some impressions. So I guess it just kind of happened.
Yeah, for sure. And was it weird kind of getting big for one thing and then wanting to, clearly you enjoy making skits and whatnot?
Yeah.
Like, was there a transition process there that you had to navigate?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the ultimate goal was to either get into directing somehow or voice acting. But I mean, the voice impressions were doing really well, and I thought, that the best way to get into like the business of any kind of business, like artsy or whatever, is having connections. So I figured, I stick with the impressions, keep making videos like that. I weave little skits sometimes into my impressions videos.
Yeah.
So I figure like that's the best way to build it up, kind of, just like more connections you get, the more attention you get. And it's worked to some extent because I've gotten some like voiceover roles throughout the years. So yeah, I just keep working on it. And I actually ended up, like, I make skits with my sister on TikTok now, and over there we've got like 3.5 million followers.
Awesome.
So that actually kind of brought my YouTube channel back to life a little bit, because it was kind of dead for a while. It was right around the time that YouTube started implementing the thing where it doesn't notify you that someone's uploaded something unless you hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
And that was right around the time that I took a little brief break, and I never ever used to have a call to action in my videos. I never would say hit the notification bell or subscribe. So that virtually kind of almost killed off my channel, where like the views were just terrible. But then I kind of started getting more attention offline on the TikTok, so I've actually started bringing people over there, and it started bringing my YouTube channel back to life again, thankfully.
Yeah,
So I was pretty down about that.
that's gotta feel good, man. YouTube can be
Yeah,
a weird
definitely.
roller coaster like that. So
Oh
you
yeah.
you you work a lot with your sister. Do you find it's like more fun or effortless to collaborate with somebody? Like, how does that feel versus just sitting there in front of a microphone by yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even when I do my impression videos, I always have the impression or the characters like interact with each other. So in a way, I'm kind of interacting with someone, even if it's just myself, but I'm pretending to be the characters. But it's definitely a lot easier when you actually have somebody else there to, behind the camera, to tell you if the lighting looks good, everything looks good, or
Seriously.
tell you like how your line delivery was, or do that line again, but do it in this way. And me and her are really close, so I definitely think I prefer having somebody else to work with over doing it by myself.
Yeah, and I think that's collaboration always feels good, more effortless if you got good chemistry with someone. And yeah, like clearly you and your sister do. You said 3.5 million on TikTok. Like that's no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did it take to accumulate that many followers on TikTok?
On TikTok, kind of, it was a slow, steady growth, and the main thing that blew us up over there was we do these parodies of Dora the Explorer, but it's like a horror version of Dora the Explorer, and the first one got like 45 million views or something, and that just like completely blew up the TikTok account. And so then we actually kind of stuck with that little series too. So like we don't just do that, we do other things too, but that's the one people always want to see more of, and those videos usually get between like anywhere between 1 and 20 million views. And we brought some of those over to YouTube as well, and like we do some stuff on YouTube with the whole Evil Dora skits and stuff too. I'm trying to get back into voice impressions though, because I miss doing that.
Yeah, it's I think that's normal where you have one thing that works for a while, and then you do this other thing, and that works, and then you kind of want to go back to the first thing too. But clearly, you're still enjoying the skits and the creepy Dora skits. Like I watched quite a few of those before talking to you, and they're funny, man. It's like,
thank you.
why do you think creepy Dora is so popular? What is it about that is hitting a certain tone with people?
Well, my sister's a really, really good actress. That's one thing. She plays the character really well. When as far as like directing goes, my biggest dream has always been to direct like a horror movie. So I think it's the whole element of that childhood show, but like what if it was dark and evil? Kind of like all the creepy pasta stories and everything like that. That's just like internet meme like soup or fun, or like like it's just. I think that's the thing that draws people to it, probably, is because like seeing all the friendly, happy cartoons turn evil and dark is like really popular.
Yeah, there is something about that. I don't know what it is. It's like the those horror movies where it shows like empty swings swinging in the park, and it's nighttime and there's children laughing. There's something about like the childhood innocence juxtaposed with something scary that is entertaining. I don't know. People have liked it for a while, so that's cool.
No, I remember like when I was a kid, then there'd be like, in the school there'd be like those stories where it's like my uncle works for Nintendo, and then there's like this creepy story that kind of just passed around, and it's like an urban legend amongst like children and stuff. And like a lot of times those would all be themed around children's shows or something like that. Like I think that's just, I don't know what it is, but yeah, like you said, it's the juxtaposition, like just makes it more entertaining.
Yeah, dude, it sure does. It's I don't know, something about it. So you mentioned earlier that you had some voiceover gigs. Can you tell us about some of those?
Well, the biggest ones are ones where I actually got to go to a studio in the city that I'm closest to, instead of flying all the way out to California. But like I was like Skyping, FaceTime with them from California while I was doing it. But basically, they saw some of my impression videos that had a lot of views, and they would say like, "Hey, I like your range," or "This one character you did an impression of, I'm actually looking for a character that kind of sort of, I was thinking of that kind of voice." And I didn't have to like audition for anything, they just like offer it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, of course, I'd love to do it." But that was, so yeah, I've had, mostly they just reached out from the impression videos. I've auditioned for a couple too that I've gotten. Nothing major, mostly just like smaller online type videos, but you gotta like work your way up and make connections. And some of the people I'm working with, their stuff is blowing up too now, so once you have those connections, then hopefully you can keep getting work with them. If they grow, then maybe they come with you, or you come with them.
Yeah, totally, man. That's good. Sounds like you're an easy guy to work with, and clearly you you got the ball rolling with these impression videos early. So like good on you. Like you got into YouTube at a very good time, like 2012. I think that was the early YouTube days. How old were you
Yeah.
when you started posting?
Like 19 maybe. 18,
19?
18 maybe, 18 or 19. I was like just graduated high school. And
Gotcha. All
yeah.
right. Yeah, that's a good age to start. I started when I was 22 is when I really seriously started posting to YouTube. I don't know, some just got a lot of energy, and I still have energy. I'm not that old, but so like now where you are in your YouTube career, like are you looking to branch out into anything different? I know you said you wanted to do more voice acting stuff, but like what's in the future for you?
I'm definitely trying to keep the momentum on TikTok going right now and keep bringing people over to YouTube because as far as trying to do it full time, it's really hard to do TikTok full time because the monetization over there is like non-existent. Basically,
Yeah.
I've seen like some of the biggest YouTubers. I think like Hank Green or something posted once what he was making, and it was like nothing at all compared to the amount of views that he gets. It's like a tenth maybe of YouTube's per view over there. But you do get sponsors over there sometimes. I just did one of my first sponsors for that. So keep the ball rolling, like you said, with TikTok. But main thing I want to do is kind of try to bring people back to YouTube, kind of start doing more skits and stuff on YouTube. Maybe get to the point where I could do YouTube as a full-time job. That's been the dream for a while now. Because I feel like if I could put more time into making videos and consistency and everything, then I could quit my job. Hopefully, no one of my job is listening to this. They won't be.
No.
Yeah, because it could be difficult, to balance the two. Because YouTube, the main thing is consistency, and that could be difficult if you do have a full-time job, or if you're putting more attention into another platform where you have more momentum right now. So kind of just get to the point where I'm not juggling everything, because then I can like voice audition for more things, and that's kind of what I want to do, is just see if I can just get to that point where I could do it full time.
Yeah, like it's a blast being a full-time YouTuber, that's for sure. There is the pressure of having to be consistent to do it for a living, but then you also get the creative freedom to really
Yeah.
do whatever the heck you want, and that can be nice. I get it. I get the appeal. So having a sponsorship on TikTok, like so. I've been on YouTube forever. TikTok, I've gone on for a few too many hours of my life. I mean, TikTok's awesome. I'm not trying to. I really genuinely enjoy a lot of TikToks, but I guess I'm confused, like how monetization would work on there. Like, what is it like getting a sponsorship on there?
So there's your videos aren't monetized like on YouTube. Like you won't see any ads or anything like that. It's this thing they have called the Creator Fund, where TikTok puts a bunch of money aside every year, and they pledge to pay creators based off of how many views they get. It's a very small like amount per view, so they're not paying you for ads being shown or anything like that. They're basically just paying you for like how many views you get. And some people do pretty decently with it. Like the major people, they're making a lot of money, but then there's a pretty steep drop off from what it sounds like. As far as the sponsors go, they'll reach out to you and say, would you be willing to make a TikTok on this product or this game? Or I know I have a friend who got to do a sponsor for a movie, so she like did a short little skit, and then she got to go to the premiere of the movie. I don't know if she got paid on top of that. I never asked, but yeah, so they basically will reach out to you, and there'll like be some like guidelines, kind of like on YouTube too. I got a sponsor on YouTube before too, where they'll say like, want the 60-second ad that you want to like incorporate into your video, but make it seem organic and fun, and not like an ad. And yeah, that's kind of what it's just like, that they reach out to you and ask you to make a TikTok with their whatever it is that they're trying to promote.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks for kind of enlightening me on that. I
Yeah, of course.
tried posting to TikTok a few times, and I always got like 100 views or whatever. I never stuck with it long enough to actually succeed on there. But yeah, I was just kind of wondering exactly how that worked. I did know that monetization was trickier there, which kind of makes sense. The videos are way shorter. But yeah, okay. So I listened to your song "You'll Be Extinct," original song. It was awesome. It was really good.
Thank you.
Like, what is your music background? Like, that song was legitimately catchy and well done, and I enjoyed it.
Well, thanks, man. I have no musical background. My sister, though, she's like classically trained in everything. She's an insanely talented singer. She also helped me put that together. I came up with the melody and everything, but she did all the harmonizing parts. Like I think I sang the main voices of the puppets, but she did like the backing harmonizing, because she actually knows how to harmonize and stuff like that. But it was a parody of have you ever seen the "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared"? Yeah. It was originally supposed to be part of this huge video I was going to do of impressions of YouTubers, and one of the YouTubers that I was going to do the impressions of was "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," and that video ended up getting way too long. Like, I was turning everything into a giant parody instead of just like taking a couple seconds to do impressions of the characters. And then I'm like, I kind of like this song. I think I just want to post it by itself. So yeah, that's kind of what we did. Me and her put it together, just for fun.
Right on. Yeah, it was fun to watch. Like, it's I took my music experience. I played recorder in 4th grade. I played trumpet in 5th grade. I did gospel choir in college for 2 quarters, I think.
That's a unique one.
yeah, it was fun. I was a baritone, and it was, I was just doing a lot of things like that, you know, very biblical noises. That's what I was going for.
You get a job in like horror movies background.
You know, I'd be down. I've been meaning to branch out into kind of voiceover, voice acting type roles. You know, it's cool doing things for my YouTube channel, but you also never know. I'm sure you share this feeling, like just kind of getting thrown into a role. It can be really interesting, like a character somebody else wrote, and you got to embody it. It's I don't know. It's different than like purely doing your own thing, you know? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so do you find that doing your own thing and kind of, I guess, creating for yourself or with your sister, is that your favorite thing to do, or do you like really enjoy role work and kind of playing a character?
I have a passion for both, honestly. I think it's because I have that dual interest in I've always wanted to direct. So I love being behind the camera, but I also love being in front of the camera, or I guess in front of the microphone. Because on the other hand, like when you're directing or, you know, controlling something, you have to like focus on everything and all the lighting and all that stuff. And that can be a little more tricky if you want to play a character in your own thing that you're doing, because then you're just going to be thinking to your head like, okay, am I positioned well in the camera? Does my voice, is the audio good and everything? But when you actually get to play a character, then you can like fully just get into the character, not have to worry about any of the editing or anything like that. So I love that aspect of it, because usually when I direct stuff that I'm in myself, then it's like I'm putting 50% effort into both things. Overall, I'd say probably like voice work for other people is probably more fun, but I love both of them.
Totally get it. I like what you said about being able to just totally get into the character and the work you're doing on camera or in front of the microphone, as opposed to doing this YouTube stuff. Like, you got to wear so many hats. You got to make sure the audio's recording, and as you said, make sure your face is in frame, all that stuff, and then kind of be aware of it as it's rolling too, so you kind of have this voice in your head while you're also saying things into the mic. It's it can be kind of like, I don't know, very dualistic, or like there's a lot going on in my head.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, even with the TikTok skits or whatever, when you're doing that too, you're filming vertically, so even just little things like knowing I can't stick my arm out this far, otherwise it'll go off screen. So having to like constantly like say before I'm about to do my line, wait, asked my sister like, wait, how far can my arms go out to do this gesture? And then you have to like, yeah, so like just little things like that make you kind of take you out of it. But the
vertical
voiceover
video.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry, I was just talking to myself there. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Vertical video is like, I've only worked in it a few times. I remember I made a Pokemon Go video, so
really?
that was all in vertical video pretty much. It can be weird. I guess I didn't even think about not being able to stretch your arms much. That must make it expressing yourself difficult.
Yeah, a lot of awkward movements. On TikTok in general, there's just a lot of awkwardness in general, you know. You've seen TikToks, but yeah, then even I've tried to start doing vlogs too, like behind the scenes stuffs, and sometimes like a lot of the tricky thing too with the skits is that I want to start doing more skits on YouTube, you know, for the monetization reasons and stuff, to actually be able to make a little bit off of it. So sometimes I kind of get into the tricky part of like, okay, well, I got to keep it, if it's going to be on TikTok, it has to be under a minute long, but like I'm going to get more views on TikTok, but YouTube, I can have more freedom. I can, you know, wide angles and don't have to like be concerned with trying to condense it to a minute. So a lot of times it's also very tricky to like second guess which one I should put it on between the two, for all those different reasons too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just doing both, it can be the right decision. Just getting out there as much as possible is always my advice. But yeah. So all right, now that you've been on YouTube for about 10 years, that's quite a while. Do you feel like how do you feel YouTube has influenced you, or TikTok as well? We don't have to only focus on YouTube. Generally, I talk about YouTube on this podcast, but the fact you got this TikTok thing, I do want to talk to you about that. So like how has all this affected you creatively? Do you feel like it's a super important part of your life in a way that has changed you kind of in a deep way? Is it just kind of a way to have fun? How is that for you?
I definitely think it's like carried over into my life a lot. Like if anything, it's like helped me blossom socially, because I was like insanely shy growing up. I was that kid that had lunch in the bathrooms because he was afraid of, you know, getting bullied or whatever. But like people thought in high school, they thought I was antisocial. Like literally had somebody once come up to me and say like, after they heard me talk, like, hey man, I thought you were antisocial or something. And so if one thing has just helped me like come out my shell a lot more. And then as far as you were saying, like the whole creativeness and stuff, that's something I've always wanted to do. And seeing people actually enjoy it kind of like gives you a little bit of a confidence, like, hey, maybe this is actually something that I could be able to do full time at some point, because I was never like the best student or anything, but then you kind of see yourself like doing well at something, and it kind of like, it's a nice feeling, you know. But even YouTube has influenced like TikTok, for example. Like I actually was doing YouTube all the way back in 2008. I had an older channel where I did like some stop motion. It was really bad stop motion. I don't want to share the channel. It's a private channel. It's like my very first channel, but like I've had some people on TikTok say like my skits remind them of like that old school comedy style of skits, like in 2008, 2010 YouTube. So that even just old YouTube has influenced me like on other platforms too. But yeah, no, it's definitely carried over into my life.
Yeah, I guess it'd be impossible for it not to. I mean, like 55 million views, that's gonna affect you somehow. And it also, I think, it's always more motivating when it feels like somebody's watching. I think a lot of people, when they start on YouTube, they're sort of putting videos into the void for quite a while. But if you get a certain amount of attention early on, I think it, I don't know, it's fun to show people things and have them comment on it and kind of read what they have to say, until it's not fun to read what they have to say. I'm sure you get some of those comments.
Yeah, no, I've always told other people, my sister especially, like when she's tried to make her own stuff, Like, you know that you're doing well when you get your first like hate comment or your first jump off of a cliff comments.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you start getting the hate comments or you start seeing dislikes appear on your video, unless it's like a terrible ratio of likes dislikes, that's a sign that you're starting to do pretty well, because there's going to be people that are that are just going to be upset that you see other people do well or something, and then you get a little bit of, I mean, even I get salty sometimes. I never like write bad comments or anything like that or dislike videos, but sometimes I'll see someone who's just gotten to the point where they could do it full time, but it's like something really, really simple, and I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous of you. Kind of salty, but good for you. Good for you. I'm definitely jealous though. But yeah, I mean, once you start attracting like the trolls or the hate comments, I think that's just a sign that you're starting to do pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like when you start reaching a certain amount of attention, for whatever reason, people want to start throwing daggers at you, or at least toothpicks. And as you said, maybe jealousy is part of it. Maybe also just because you're getting noticed. There's some people, they're just kind of always thinking negative things, and then it just happens that you come into their line of sight, and then their negativity just kind of keeps going, and it spews onto you. And I'm sure that's how it works. It could even be
them like comparing you to other people too, because I've had some people comment saying like, oh, this guy does impressions better, and that could just be like their favorite YouTuber, or that's like another impressions that they love to watch, like the most out of all the people that do impressions and stuff. And like, I totally get that. Like if you have a favorite or something, or if you think somebody's better or whatever, then that's gonna happen. You're not gonna be everybody's favorite. But there's still no reason really to like say stuff like, oh man, you suck, you should give up. Just
those guys need to chill out. That's my advice to them. Chill out, go outside.
Really no though, because like have you ever gotten one and you like just were curious and you decided to just go to their channel and see like what their stuff looks like? Because I've done that a few times in the past, and a lot of times it was like 10-year-old 12-year-olds that were just that were doing like that were gaming and just like screaming at their computers all the time. So a lot of times, honestly, I think it could just be like kids in general, just because I don't know, the older I've gotten, it seems like people just get more mature. Well, not everybody, but as far as like social media goes, I don't know, because now that I think about it, I see a lot of immature adults as well online.
Yeah, I think you're right though, that a lot of the really, really toxic stuff is probably just kids who they don't really know what they're saying. I don't know, maybe they picked up some bad habits from their parents and they're just kind of spewing it out onto the internet without any maturity. I think that's a lot of it. Some could be bots even. I don't know. I mean, there's definitely bots on YouTube, but maybe that's more common on Instagram or Twitter rather. I know Twitter is infiltrated with just AIs commenting on threads and starting things.
Oh yeah. I try to avoid Twitter as much as possible. I feel like that's become one of the more toxic social media platforms online.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it's the short nature of the communication definitely gets blamed a lot. And it's weird because Instagram is like so positive often that it makes me feel negative sometimes. Like I compare myself to other people's Instagram lives.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I guess all platforms sort of have a threat to them of some kind.
Definitely. And yeah, and then even like even on YouTube you'll see people making like I guess diss videos or hate videos, and I think I got one once actually, and I felt honored. It was like a little kid or whatever that made a video. He was just like talking for like a minute or two about like why he thought that my channel sucked, that I sucked, but it was yeah, I was honored when that happened. Like,
you should be honored.
Cool.
And I bet the hate video was really high quality too. Like it was really well made, and it wasn't super pixelated, and the audio wasn't screechy or weird.
I won't confirm or deny anything there. I don't want to. I'm not gonna stoop down to anybody else's level. You know.
That's
Be
wise
the
of you.
bigger. Yeah.
Very mature for your age.
Well, I'm an adult, so
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think that most people should be mature when they're my age.
Yeah, I'm 30 and I attempt to be mature, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes I'm mature for my age, you know.
Sometimes, yeah.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the definition of maturity because like very childlike. So if they were to one day say like, hey, playgrounds are now acceptable for adults to play onto, and then they had like a adult swim, like they had adult playground time, like I'm gonna be all over that thing, because there's some discrimination. All the kids get all these fun arcades like Chuck E. Cheese and playgrounds, Happy Meals, and their toys, but where's all the love for us adults? Just because or even trick or treating, like why can't I, as an adult, still go trick or treating? I mean, aside from just it being kind of creepy in general.
You can. They would probably give you candy.
Yeah, you got to like completely cover yourself in a cloak or something, like a ghost costume.
Right. Then you'll just be a really tall
I'm just
ghost.
tall kid. Yeah, tall kid.
Yeah, I think that would be not creepy at all. I agree. So if playgrounds did open up to adults, which I guess they're always open to adults, but like if it became socially acceptable to just be on the playground, what would your favorite part of a playground be?
Oh, anything that involves climbing. Like I just climb over the entire thing, not even the section that's meant for climbing. Do all the stuff that I wanted to do as a child that my parents didn't let me do. Like don't stand on top of that. I'm an adult now. I'll stand on top of whatever I want to stand on top of. And if I fall off and break my ankle, then I guess you were somewhat right, but at least I got to do it still,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and now you're at the age where you're responsible for your own broken ankle. So like,
exactly.
It's kind of on you to decide what you want to do with your body on that playground.
I could cross it off the bucket list though. That's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you got a good taste in playground equipment. Whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm enjoying myself, entertaining myself. So, what do you think is your best character impression that you're able to do?
I don't know about best. I guess I've mostly gotten told probably some of the more popular ones like Scooby-Doo. A lot of times I'll get told like, oh, your Scooby-Doo is perfect. How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah.
The main guy Hiccup from that, I get like that's one of my most popular ones. I think my favorite one to do is Mickey Mouse. I do that like all the time just for fun, but I do like this kind of deranged. I kind of make it sound more deranged, kind of like did you ever see South Park? Their version of Mickey Mouse, more like in that kind of tone. So that's just fun, like and I'll just say stuff like ha, don't cross me or I'll buy you.
That's super good, dude. Yeah, it's got that corporate Mickey feel. The South Park Mickey.
Yeah, I love their version of Mickey.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you think your biggest inspirations have been over the years? South Park sounds like is one of them. Are there any other? Dora the Explorer, perhaps, has been a big inspiration for you. Anything else that comes to mind?
Yeah, my sister watched a lot of Dora the Explorer, so that was kind of like secondhand studying that I got knowledgeable about that show there. But no, I'd say probably the biggest one is like a lot of people in our generation and the next generation is SpongeBob. That whole style of comedy in general, like that's like you can't see it, but my room is completely decorated with classic SpongeBob stuff. Like I got a couple of replica paintings and stuff from the show, and so yeah, definitely SpongeBob is probably the biggest one. That and horror movies, those are like probably the two things. I got like this clashing enjoyment of like all things Disney and cartoons and animated friendly happy stuff, and then like dark horror. And I think that's also probably why I do a lot of childhood things gone sinister and maniacal.
Yeah, it's I guess it can feel like a more grown-up version too of the things you're
Yeah.
nostalgic for as a kid, and it's I guess once you start adding that dark aspect to things, that I guess it doesn't automatically make it more mature. You can be too much of an edge lord, I suppose. Not
Yo,
you, but
definitely.
just in general, people can do that. But yeah, I guess that does kind of it makes sense that you'd want to do that after growing up and taking a lot of inspiration from these cartoons. Yeah, though even SpongeBob could be pretty dark, huh? Like those
Oh yeah,
gross ups
and all the
rock bottom.
innuendos too. Like if you ever go back and watch SpongeBob, there's like a ton of innuendos that you would have missed as a child. Um, and then those jokes like hit even harder now. Or it makes the early seasons hit even harder, like when you actually get the jokes. And so that's one show that just never get tired of.
Mm-hmm. Are they still making? They still are making SpongeBob episodes, aren't they?
Yeah, I know it's still going on. They lost all their original writers like long time ago. Haven't kept up with it as the newer ones as much because it kind of changed the style more. But yeah, the OG ones and stuff, those always be. I know the script to probably 80% of the old episodes, like line by line. Got to stop myself from reciting it like when I'm watching it.
That's impressive, dude. You got a good memory.
Selective memory. Yeah.
Mm.
Things that are not really that important in life, I remember. All the schoolwork and all that stuff, it just gets completely emptied out the drain. Your brain's like, I mean, yeah, this math test's coming up. It's pretty important, but that one episode of SpongeBob you really enjoyed. Let's make some room for that entire script, every single beat of the episode. That's far more important than getting an A on this test. It's basically how my brain works.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, it could just be an ADD thing, the whole selective memory drawn to stuff that's more entertaining. It's easier to focus when it's entertaining thing. That's just what I've always thought.
Yeah, it's like it's easy. Like when you're more present, it's easier to absorb and learn information. And I guess if something is boring, then you kind of have like this filter over your mind where you're just not letting the information in.
And it's more entertaining too if it's entertaining too and it's like visual and you're not just sitting there reading a book and trying to memorize these words and all these algorithms and junk that you're never actually going to use at any point in your future. Yeah.
Are you saying you haven't used 100% of what you learned in school as an adult?
I haven't. No, I haven't had anybody ever come up to me and say, if X equals 2, then how many potatoes do I need to buy for Y to equal 4? See, I can't even come up with good equations. Math was not my strong suit.
Yeah, I do use the Pythagorean theorem on a daily basis. Driving to work, I always drive in triangles. Exactly what that means, I'll leave that to your imagination. But it's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's definitely important. I get that one.
Yeah, it's I guess when you're not working on YouTube, you said you have a job that supports you, and you kind of do YouTube and TikTok on the side. Like what does your day-to-day look like? Are you working all the time between kind of your creative things and your day job, or is your life more chill than that? How's it look?
It could be I get my 8 hours of sleep every night, but like my week is still very stuffed as far as I work night shifts, like later shifts too, so like 4 to midnight. So I get to sleep in even too. But problem with that sometimes then if you sleep in a little bit too much, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've only got a few more hours before I got to work. Probably don't have time to do all this other stuff, but you still got to force yourself to do it. But yeah, I'm as far as like filming the TikToks go, my sister and me, the only day we both have off, because she also has a full-time job, is Thursday. So, for example, Thursdays is always a filming day. And despite a lot of the videos we make being only 1 minute long, it could take hours and hours of shooting and editing and post production with all the sound and the background music and all that stuff. So yeah, I basically only have one day that's completely free, which is a Saturday. And then sometimes I'm too exhausted to do the whole socializing thing, but it's another thing I gotta force myself to do. Like, come on, Josh, you need to have a social life. You need to have friends. You know, go hang out with your friends, or they're gonna think that you hate them, and we're gonna be all alone forever.
Yeah, it's good to be grounded by social interaction. There's something about it. It kind of gets you out of your head and reminds you that you can interact with the world. Believe me, I get it, man. In the past, especially, I tried to I don't know, avoid social interactions, I guess, but I guess they did sort of make me nervous enough to where sometimes it was more appealing to just stay in. But yeah, the more I do it, the easier it gets, I suppose. And I always feel better after doing it. That is an important thing.
The regret is worse than the any kind of anxieties you get or whatever during, because then afterwards you feel like, okay, I'm glad that I actually went out and did that instead of just staying at home for the 40th night in a row binging some new series on Netflix.
So is that your favorite thing to do when you do decide to stay home instead of go out? Is Netflix?
Either Netflix, or I'll just like take dogs on a walk, or just kind of like hanging out. Like I'm definitely more introverted than extroverted, so I don't have anything against just staying at home and being a couch potato. It's very rewarding and rejuvenizes my mental battery. But yeah, definitely the binging of series. Like I'm on a new one right now. I think I've got a few more episodes left after a couple of days.
What are you watching?
Evil Dead, the series.
I haven't heard of it, but I bet it's good.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a old school classic horror movie got turned into a TV series.
Mm-hmm. So to go back to the YouTube topic, the TikTok topic, whatever we want to call it. Do you mostly just cross-post your shorts between YouTube and TikTok? I think you talked a bit about this earlier. Do you edit them at all, or is it just like a straight-up re-upload?
So sometimes if there's a skit that we did in TikTok that I think might be able to get some hits on YouTube, I'll just re-upload the same exact thing onto YouTube, because since I always keep them under a minute on TikTok, it'll turn into one of the YouTube shorts. And from what I've seen, the YouTube shorts actually get a lot more views than normal videos. Not always. I've had a couple of videos recently get more views, but the shorts, I feel like that's also a good way to grow your channel. And then I figure, like I already got a little short skit here, might as well just re-upload it onto YouTube. But yeah, so I don't do any like additional editing or like that before I re-upload something onto YouTube. The only thing I did one time, there was this one skit we did where I wanted to try making it for YouTube as well, but do it horizontal rather than the vertical video. So we actually filmed each scene twice with my phone and then once with my camera, and that was the point where we decided, okay, this is way too much to film this thing twice in a row and make it for each one of them. So that's when I decided, okay, if I can condense the skit to being under a minute, it goes on TikTok. If it needs to be over a minute, then it's just going to be YouTube, and I'm not going to do both at the same time because it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, totally get it. So for people who are just getting started on YouTube or voice acting or making skits or anything like that, like what would you tell them?
I'd say first and foremost, make sure you love what you're doing, because you don't want to get caught in that whole, I'm just doing this because I want to be famous or I want dopamine from the likes. Like, you have to actually have a passion for doing it, because if you don't get views or success or whatever like that, that's gonna like not be good for your mental health. Even when I've not been doing well with views in the past, it's still something I loved. So that passion and just in general, my drive, because I want to still get into directing and voice acting and stuff, like it's still like practice and still fun. So first and foremost, have a passion for it for sure. And I'd say branch out to as many platforms as possible, because you can get more followers on one platform to follow you on a different one, and you can make a ton of money off of Instagram even. So, and they've got videos there too, and that's probably my main two things. Like, have a passion for it, and don't be necessarily just narrowed in on one social media platform. And then consistency, obviously, that's important, but don't make it like, oh, I'm gonna upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday if it's overwhelming. If you can just do once a week on a Friday, or if you could do every other Friday at first, just kind of get into the rhythm, the groove, or whatever. Or if you like a stop motion animator and if you can only do one a month, then you can at least like have that one set date, so then all your people watching, they know that, oh, there's going to be something up this day. I think those are the main three things: passion, consistency, and branching out to different platforms.
Great advice. I love it. Yeah, and
Thanks.
I think consistency is not even. I think it's definitely the word that comes up the most when it comes to succeeding, because the more you post, the more practice you get, and the more practice you get, the better you get, and then obviously you're posting, so you're actually putting things out there, and
And the algorithms love consistency.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because I always try to explain the way it works. Like if there's some lady who's really into cats and she's been watching a ton of cat videos, but she's also subscribed to this person who makes videos about dogs, but the person that's makes dog videos hasn't made a dog video in like a few months. YouTube's probably not going to tell her when she opens it up that oh, look, there's a new dog video, because she's been really into the cat videos. So that's the way that consistency definitely helps with the algorithm. Is it keeps your fans, keeps the videos being sent to the people that are subscribed to you. Because if you go on a hiatus for a while, then it can kind of just like dry up like the Sahara Desert. It's kind of like what happened to mine for a while.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to add to that is I think taking a break isn't necessarily bad. I don't know if it hurts your channel. I think if you haven't posted in a while, maybe less people get notified, maybe, but I think YouTube themselves even said that not posting for a while, like, they're not going to punish your channel. I think the main advantage of posting a lot is just that you permeate the system. Like, you just have more opportunities to be seen, whereas if you're not posting so often, you just have less opportunities to get seen and for a video to take off.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, mental health too over everything.
Yes.
Don't force yourself to make too many videos, or like stress yourself out, wear yourself down.
For real. Yeah, you got to be realistic and kind to yourself, and I've definitely been guilty of overdoing it, and probably most people have at some point in their lives.
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Josh, why don't you tell people where they can find you and pitch all the important things that you want to pitch?
Okay. You can find me on YouTube under Joshiiwuh. It's JOSHIIWUH. Or alternatively, if you type in 100 voice impressions, usually one of mine is one of the first ones to pop up. You can also find me on TikTok under JOSHIIWHHH. 3 H's on that one, because when I signed up, somebody had already taken the 1 and the 2 H's. Or if you just look online and type in evil or creepy Dora, you'll likely see one of me and my sister's Dora videos, and you can find me there. Or a lot of people repost those too on YouTube, so yeah, I'm sure you can find those pretty easily.
Yeah, those bastards.
Free promotion.
Yeah, for real. I like your attitude there. But yeah, there you have it, Josh of Joshiiwuh. Thank you so much for joining me, and whoever you are watching this right now, I will see you in the next one.